Yes. Now, I'm going to speak about taking charge of your life. And number one, worst enemies in your life, huh? The greatest enemy of success and happiness are the negative emotions that hold you down, tire you out, and take away all your joy in life. Negative emotions, from the beginning of time, have done more harm to individuals and society than all the plagues of history. One of your most important goals, if you want to be truly happy and successful, is to free yourself from negative emotions. Fortunately, you can do this if you learn how, if you want to learn how. The negative emotion of fear, self-pity, envy, jealousy, feelings of inferiority, and ultimately anger are mostly caused for factors. Once you identify and remove these factors from your thinking, your negative emotions stop automatically. When your negative emotion stops, the positive emotion of love, peace, joy, and enthusiasm flow in to replace them, and your whole life changes for the better, sometimes in a matter of minutes or even seconds. The second thing of taking charge of your life is there is no time for justification. The first of the four root causes of negative emotion is justification. You can be negative only as long as you can justify to yourself and others that you are entitled to be angry or upset for some reasons. This is why angry people are continually explaining and elaborating on the reason for their negative feelings. However, if you cannot justify your negativity, you cannot be angry. For example, a person is laid off from a job due to a change in the economy and declining sales in the company. However, the individual is angry with the boss for this decision and justifies his anger by describing all the reason why he is being laid off is unfair. He can even get himself so incensed that he decided to sue or get even in some way. As long as he continues to justify his negative feelings towards his boss and the company, his negative emotion control him and occupy much of his life and thinking. However, as soon as he says, well, I've been laid off, this thing happens, it's not personal. People get laid off all the time. I guess I'd better get busy finding a new job. His negative emotions vanishes. He becomes calm, clear, and focused on the goal and on the steps he can take to get back into the workforce. As soon as he stops justifying, he becomes a more positive and effective person. Don't rationalize and make excuses. The third thing. The second cause of negative emotion is rationalizing. When you rationalize, you attempt to give a socially acceptable explanation for an otherwise socially unacceptable act. You rationalize to explain away or put a favorable light on something that you have done that you feel bad or unhappy about. You excuse your action by creating an explanation that sounds good, even though you know that you are an active agent in whatever occurred. You often create complex ways of putting yourself in the right by explaining that your behavior was really quite acceptable, all things considered. This rationalizing keeps your negative emotions alive. Rationalizing and justification always require that you make someone or something else the source of the cause of your problem. You cast yourself in the role of the victim and you make the other person or organization into the oppressor or the bad guy. Rise above the opinion of others. That is the fourth one. The third cause of negative emotion is an over-concern or hypersensitivity about the way other people treat you. For some people, their entire self-image is determining the way other people speak to them, talk to them, or about them, or even look at them. They have little sense of personal value, or self-worth apart from the opinion of others. And if those opinions are negative for any reason, real or imagined, the victim immediately experiences anger, embarrassment, shame, feelings of inferiority, and even depression, self-pity, and despair. This explains why psychologists self almost everything we do is to earn the respect of others, or at least to avoid losing their respect. The fifth one, no one else is responsible. The fourth cause of the negative emotion, and the worst of all, is blaming. When I draw the negative emotion tree in my seminars, illustrate the trunk of the tree of the propensity to blame other people for our problems. Once you cut down the trunk of the tree, all the fruits of the tree, all the other negative emotions die immediately, just as all the lights go out instantly when you jack the plug out of the socket that lights up at the Christmas tree. Never blame anybody. From now on, refuse to blame anybody for anything past, present, or future. As Eleanor Roosevelt says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Buddy Hackett, the comedian, once said, I never hold grudges. While you're holding grudges, they are out dancing. From this point forward, refuse to make excuses or to justify your behavior. If you make a mistake, say I'm sorry and get busy rectifying the situation. Every time you blame, you weak someone else or make excuses, you give your power away. You feel weakened and diminished. You feel negative and angry inside. Refuse to do it. Control your emotions. To keep your mind positive, refuse to criticize, complain about, or condemn people for anything. Every time you criticize someone else, complain about something you don't like, or condemn someone else for something that they have not done or not done, you trigger feelings of negativity and anger within yourself. And you are the one who suffers. Your negativity doesn't affect the person at all. Being angry with someone is allowing him or her to take control of your emotion and often the entire quality of your life. At long distance, this is just plain silly. Remember, as Gary Zuvav, his book The Seat of the Soul, positive emotions empower negative emotion disempowered. Positive emotion of happiness, excitement, love, and enthusiasm makes you feel more powerful and confident. Negative emotion of anger, hurt, or blame weaken you and make you hostile, irritable, and unpleasant to be around. Once you decide to accept complete responsibility for yourself, your situation, and everything that happens to you, you can turn confidently toward your work and the affairs of your life. You become the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. In a study done in New York some years ago, researchers found that Propel, who ranked in the top 3% in every field, had a special attitude that set them apart from average performance in their industries. It was this: they viewed themselves as self-employed throughout their careers, no matter who signed their paychecks. They saw themselves as responsible for their companies, exactly as if they owned the companies personally. You should do the same. From this moment forward, see yourself as the president of your own personal services corporation. View yourself as self-employed. See yourself as being in complete charge of every part of your life and career. Remind yourself that you are what you are